The consumer packaged goods industry is estimated to be a $2 trillion market. Despite experiencing a slowdown in growth over recent years, the CPG industry is still one of the largest sectors. That said, many times it's the large industries and sectors that can be challenging to see areas of opportunity. Well, within this episode of Startup Story, we unpack 3 key areas of opportunity within the CPG space. So let's get to it. Hello, I'm James McKinney, the creator and host of the Startup Story podcast and founder of Grindology. Every week, I sit with a successful founder to unpack their entrepreneurial journey that led them to build the incredible businesses and brands that they have. With over 100 episodes and almost 100,000 listeners across the UK, Australia, and the United States, we have been fortunate to have some of the most amazing founders join the show. And just recently, I had the chance to speak with Ryan Lewendon, partner at the Law Firm Giannuzzi Lewendon. Ryan's experience in this space is immense. He has worked on deals with Vitamin Water, Pirate's Booty, Pretzel Crisps, Siggy's Yogurt, Vita Coco, Essential Water, and even Schmidt's Naturals, which you might remember from my interview with Jaime Schmidt shortly after she sold her brand to Unilever. His episode is chock full of value for all things related to the CPG space, and you can access his full episode via the link below this video. But in this segment of my full interview with Ryan, he shares the top 3 areas of opportunity within the CPG space. And before we jump into his incredible segment, I want to encourage you to watch this video to the very end, as I have a special offer to highlight your business or brand within the Startup Story for absolutely free. Now let's hear direct from Ryan Lewendon on the top 3 areas of opportunity within the CPG space.
You know, the first trend I'd talk about in the year ahead is plant-based. Right? That should, like, plant-based, the trend should sort of come as no surprise to everyone. It's something that, you know, for years has been sort of gaining into the public consciousness. You know, Beyond Meat's IPO and now Oatly's IPO has certainly sort of brought to the forefront of business as well as sort of people's dinner plates. Although I will say in the past couple of years, you know, the thoughts around plant-based has sort of shifted from, you know, something you do just to survive to something that you can do to really thrive, right? So you've got athletes out there like Tom Brady and Chris Paul who've adopted these plant-based diets and, you know, are crediting it to rejuvenating their athletic careers. So people are sort of, first they're looking at these diets as something that can really be beneficial to them is in terms of like elongating their life, elongating their athletic careers, or really improving where they are. And then you've also got a lot of products out there, a lot of innovation out there that's like developing new and better ways, better tasting ways and better functional ways to get plant-based. So there's companies like Koya, right? Which is plant-based protein shakes, smoothies, other drinkable sort of athletic-based benefits, but it's all plant-based. So before where your options were like muscle milk, which was dairy-based, or, you know, like a whey protein or an animal protein, this is a plant-based alternative that tastes great and has no sort of animal products in it whatsoever. You also have things like companies like From the Ground Up, right? So that where they've taken traditional plant-based form factors like grains and rice for things like tortilla chips and pretzels, and they've replaced it with like cauliflower and butternut squash, and it's generally better for you plant-based products. So you're finding this proliferation of the plant-based sort of product offerings that are becoming better for you, different form factors, and still great tasting. So I think there's a lot of room to run there in that trend for the upcoming years. One of my personal areas of interest is better for you imbibing, right? So the pandemic, it's obviously given everybody sort of a reason to have a beverage or something to unwind at the end of the day. While we've been working from home and trying to relax from home, you know, you've seen it, everybody's reaching for a wine glass, working out with the wine bottles. You know, imbibing's been sort of more of a part of our lives in some ways than it has pre-pandemic. But I've also found that, you know, just the pandemic sort of exacerbated some of the trends. So while people are looking to unwind and imbibe, they're also looking for ways to keep themselves healthier and safer while they're doing so. So, you know, looking for things like products that might be imbibing, but also sort of add benefits. It might be probiotic. It might be a better product. It might be lower calorie, lower sugar. Those are trends that have sort of been trending for the past couple of years, but I think we're accelerated by the pandemic, where people are equally as worried about imbibing as they are about their health and keeping their immunity up. So you've got a company like Flying Embers, which offers an array of products like hard kombucha, probiotic seltzer. They came out with a beer that's low calorie, low carb, low sugar, but also infused with ashwagandha and some other functional type mushrooms to sort of enhance that imbibing experience. People want that sort of multi-factor experience from imbibing these days. In addition, they've got in addition to functional alcohol, people are looking for no and low ABV ways to unwind. So, that might be something sessionable, meaning that you can drink a lot of them without sort of having a ton of alcohol in there, like a company like House, or something with no alcohol, like a hop water or something like a Kin that's got no alcohol in it, but has adaptogens or other things like ashwagandha or GABA or kava that are meant to sort of give you a relaxing mood without sort of the hangover from the alcohol.
It's interesting, just the idea of a healthier drink. I mean, drinking in and of itself is not usually categorized as healthy in any way, shape, or form. And yet we're trying to solve that problem, right? And that's what I love about entrepreneurship, is that someone out there thought, I want to keep on drinking. How do I make this healthy? And I love it. So what's the last trend you're seeing in the CPG space?
Yeah. And just the last point on the healthiness. I don't think any of the imbibing stuff is healthy, but it's healthier for you, right? People are looking for degrees of, how can I do less harm to myself, right? How can I minimize the after effects of the good time that I'm having? But yeah, I think, look, people want more bang for their buck out of everything. And that would take me in some ways to the sort of last trend. And this trend is a macro trend, I think is going to be one of the biggest and most far reaching for sort of the years ahead. And that's personalized wellness. Over the past years, everybody's looking, like I said, more bang for your buck out of your product, right? People are looking for efficacy. They want, you want CBD in your deodorant to relax you while it's also sort of helping you smell good after a workout. You want multi-factor things. And people have realized, as they're sort of getting more into biohacking, that they're considering their own genome, their biome, and how that interacts with different products. Consumers have become aware that not all one size products fit everyone the same or react to everyone the same. So there have become lots more products out there that are more narrowly tailored to people, right? That might be from taking a blood glucose monitor to help develop a line of supplements, which is going to help you recover from workout better. It might be something like a company like No Beauty, which is utilizing your geography, a test about what your lifestyle is like, and then a genome test to help develop and pair the right or the best types of skincare regime for you, right? So people are using data and analysis, macro, micro data, to help develop more targeted, more efficacious products to consumers. And that's really filling a desire from the consumer end. But as that technology improves, I think that proliferation of products is going to expand. And 20 years from now, basically everything we consume will have some aspect of it that is more narrowly tailored to our specific biome and the way we process things.
It's amazing when you think about data and how it's used, right? I mean, just, last week we had Elizabeth Grosjean, the founder of Blue Living, who knew she wanted to create an e-commerce channel, but didn't know what she wanted to sell. And so she leveraged the data that Amazon provides to show what are, search quantities and what's hot, how many providers are there. And she was able to identify weighted blankets as an opportunity, and she's blown up since, right? And so when I think of, our Facebook ads, right? The amount of data Facebook has that we can now cater our advertising to. And then I think of something like 23andMe, which is gathering your DNA, and it's a data set. So it's I wonder, when we have all these various data sets, the things that we can accomplish. Because when I think of the idea of tailored products, right? Whether it be the CBD deodorant or whether it be a certain allergenic free element, a cookie or whatever the case may be. If we have access to what population are experiencing these allergies, we can then create products based on this solution. So it's almost like this Amazon, 23andMe, and then with Facebook knowing who to market to, like it can get extremely tailored and extremely precise. I hope you found this content helpful, and if you did, then please make sure to subscribe to the Startup Story podcast on your podcast platform of choice so you can hear Ryan's episode in its entirety. With over 100 founder interviews to choose from, I am confident you will find many that will be helpful to your entrepreneurial journey. I mentioned earlier that I have a special offer for you to promote your business or brand within the Startup Story podcast, and it's absolutely free. This offer requires nothing from you except your time. In every episode of Startup Story, I read a listener review from Apple Podcasts. And if you visit the Startup Story show page within Apple Podcasts and leave a written review, I will read it in an upcoming episode. And here's the best part. If you insert your URL, social media accounts, or company name within that review, then when I read your review in an episode of the Startup Story, your brand or URL will be inserted into the Startup Story and live on for years to come. It's basically a free advertisement for your business or brand within the Startup Story. I hope you subscribe to the show as well as follow us on all the many social media platforms. I say it in every episode because I believe it. Entrepreneurs support other entrepreneurs, and we're here to support you.